What's up, everyone? Welcome back, sisters. It's
the faithful,
time. The faithful. If you have been patiently waiting, your faith has been rewarded. Games Workshop has dropped 7 Imperium indexes on us today, and we are going through them one at a time, in no particular order. And of course, it is time to review the new Sisters of Battle. I am so excited for Sisters of Battle. For one of my favorite armies, ever since they got those plastic models, I fell in love with the faction. I've really enjoyed playing them, and I'm really excited for the new rules that they bring to the table in 10th edition.
Definitely. They're one of the most gorgeous looking armies on the table. Just
really
all their models are amazing. It's a modern line. And on top of that, they've had a very fun, unique play style for the most part of 9th edition.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. They have had that really nice, usually not broken, often competitive, especially rewards player skill, and a very unique playstyle. It's been wonderful. Yep. So we're going to be diving deep into the 10th edition Sisters rules here, but let's talk about a couple things before we dive too deep. First up, if you like the content we make, please like the content. Give it a like, comment below, tell us what you think about the new Sisters rules, 10th edition in general, and subscribe to the channel. We're going live every day with all of the new content that GW is putting out. Spoiler alert, there's probably something going up tomorrow. We'll find out tomorrow what that is, but a betting man says...
There can't be any more factions besides
surely
Imperium.
Not. I see nothing besides the Emperor, but other players may find something to talk about tomorrow. So... if you subscribe to our channel, you'll get notified every time we go live, and it really helps support us and helps grow our channel, and we appreciate all the support that our wonderful community gives to us.
Definitely.
Speaking of community.
Yeah, if you want join our community, we have an amazing Discord server that's focused entirely on trying to help everybody learn the game and become their best. On top of that, we have tons of advanced level content. So in the War Room right now, every faction is getting a top 3 combos video. So Sisters is going to be one of those, of course.
Yes.
And then on top of that, towards the end of the month, we're going to do State of the Faction videos, breaking down all the rules, what our lists are, why we're going in this direction for each faction, and be playing tons of stream games. So check it out in the description below, thewarroom.vhx.tv.
Yep.
There's a 3-day free trial. Just check it out. A lot of people. We have an awesome conversion rate because you guys love it. And we love you.
Absolutely. So we really appreciate all of you. And, of course, now is the literal best time to try that free trial because it's a new edition. You can see what's going on our Discord. It's one of the most productive and friendly, welcoming Discords I have ever seen. And especially right now, it is buzzing. Everyone in there is hyper 10th edition.
I can't even follow all of them.
I'm trying. All right, so let's start with the Sisters of Battle. I've enjoyed this nice artwork. We're going to go to the top. First up, the army rule is Acts of Faith. As you'd expect, it's Miracle Dice. Miracle Dice is relatively similar to what it was before. You generate Miracle Dice. You don't start with any, unlike any other dice that you could start with. But you start at 0. That's fine. But you gain Miracle Dice for certain things. And when you gain a Miracle Dice, you roll it. You take that value, you set it to the side, either write it down or leave that value face up. You can then substitute that dice later on by making an Act of Faith. So an Act of Faith lets you insert 1 Miracle Dice. Even if a roll involves more than 1 dice, like a charge roll, only a single dice can be substituted.
No.
A departure from previous rolls.
No more auto 9 on that charge.
Hold that thought. We'll get there. Hold that thought. You'd have to make 2 Acts of Faith to do that.
Fair.
But you can only make 1 Act of Faith with each unit per phase, which is better than before when you could make 1 Act of Faith per army per phase. 1 per unit sounds a lot nicer. So then you can just make your Miracle Dice substitutions. It's funny, even though it says you can only use it once per phase, once all Miracle Dice substitutions have been made, how could you possibly make more than 1 in a phase? And we'll see. We'll see. Here's what you can substitute for. An advance roll, a battle shock test, a charge roll, a damage roll, a hit roll, a save roll, a wound roll. Same as before. Still can't do denies because they don't exist. Can do morale checks, except it's a battle shock now. So you can do that.
Battle shock is a nice
Battle shock is really nice because now it's where you actually want to use a high one instead of a low one now. So unfortunately, that means that the low ones are just less valuable than they used to be.
That's fair. That 1 was always
it was nice to have a couple 5s and 6s and a 1. Now you just want as high as possible. So this is all very, very good. But it's what we know, and there's no surprises there. Next up is the Detachment Rule for Hallowed Martyrs, and that is Blood of Martyrs. This is going to feel like martyrs. It's like the Martyred Lady. If your Sororitas unit is below starting strength, +1 to hit. If it's below half strength, +1 to wound. This is shooting and combat. Now, below half strength is hard to get at, but below starting strength can happen if a vehicle explodes, if a model is destroyed getting out of a transport. There's ways for you to get below starting strength. And it does clarify. If you have a starting strength of 1, you're considered below half strength if you have lost 1 or more wounds. So if a vehicle explodes and there's some vehicles nearby, congratulations. Nice. Yeah, right?
Or if you're playing against a lovely AdMech opponent who's just rad bombarding your deployment zone. Free army rules. There's nothing like Imperium supporting each other.
I do love that. I do love how supportive the AdMech is. So that's the Sororitas Detachment Rule. Pretty good buff, but it's always situational. So something to keep an eye on there.
Yep.
Now, we have the Stratagems, then we'll go into the enhancements. Like every other army, we've got 6 Stratagems here. So the first one is Divine Intervention, a stratagem that will feel familiar to opponents and players of Sisters. When a character is destroyed, that's weird. It doesn't say a non-named character. Huh, interesting.
Not an epic hero?
It doesn't say that. Yeah, it just says when a character is destroyed.
It doesn't even say infantry.
Yeah, you can use... It doesn't even say infantry. You can use this stratagem even though they were destroyed. Discard 1 to 3 Miracle Dice. Set up the last model from that unit, the character unit, okay? As close as possible to where it was destroyed, not within engagement range of any enemy models. End of phase.
You can't select Saint Celestine, and you can't select the same character more than once. So Vahl, I assume.
You can do it once per game. You can do the Triumph once per game.
Nice.
And you can use this stratagem multiple times a game. This used to be 2 CP, non-named characters, non-vehicles, once per game flat. Now it's once per character per game, 1 CP, including named characters.
The other thing is it's any phase. A lot of these restrict you to being in your opponent's shooting or fight phase. This is just any phase. So you randomly die to some weird mortals that happen in the command phase. Boom. You can still do it.
Divine Intervention's looking pretty nice. I like this a lot.
I'm saving CP for
that. All right. Light of the Emperor. Command phase. An Adeptus Sororitas unit below its starting strength. Okay. Same thing, starting strength 1. Ignore any or all modifiers to characteristics or rolls, excluding saving throws. Fun fact, a Sororitas unit that's below its starting strength might have to take a Battle Shock test. And if you used this stratagem, you wouldn't be modifying their OC because you can't modify its characteristics at all.
Yep.
So if you just want to preemptively spend a CP, ignore hit mods, and also OC mods, this could be useful.
Yeah, or all the movement, advanced charge modifiers that are in the game.
Mm-hmm.
All that's the leadership modifiers.
Yeah,
so that's quite a lot.
Interesting one here. This one's situational. Both of these are situational, but both have some good play when you need them.
Yep.
Holy Rage, this one's just solid. 1 CP, fight phase, Adeptus Sororitas unit, +1 wound. No, nothing fancy. No riders, just +1 to wound in a fight phase.
Something needs to die, kill them.
That, you know what, this is good because Sisters find themselves with a little bit of a low strength problem at the moment, I think. Because the toughness of the game has increased a lot.
Yeah.
So normally Sisters rely on Miracle Dice and auto wounds and rerolls. So I think this is nice to have and probably was necessary. So a good strat here. Down to the next strat
so far.
Yeah, and I'm not mad about this. Spirit of the Martyr 2 CP, so we only have 1 2 CP strat, but still good. So, you want to read that for me?
Yep. Fight phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. You pick 1 Adeptus Sororitas unit from your army that has been selected as the target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks. And until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit is destroyed, if they haven't fought, don't remove them, they're going to fight on death.
Yeah.
And auto, you're not rolling. It's not on a 4-up. It's not on a 3-up. You just fight on death. And this is one of the strongest strats they previously had with Repentia. Yes. Being able to just murder you when you charged onto an objective where they were.
Yeah, that is really nice. So just 2 CP, fight on death.
But this is any Adeptus Sororitas unit, so
It is any. Could be a character.
Vahl in a...
You could fight Vahl on death and then stand her up.
Yep.
I would do that. That's what I would do. So, pretty good there with Spirit of the Martyr. Suffering and Sacrifice is 1 CP at the start of the fight phase. This one I like. An infantry or walker. So this used to be a character that is your warlord, and it isn't a vehicle. Now it is infantry or walker.
And I assume the Warsuits are walker.
Yeah, they sure are.
They should be.
They sure are. Until the end of the phase, each time an enemy model within engagement range of your unit selects targets, it must select your unit as the target of its attack. Any Adeptus Sororitas infantry, any at all. I'm just going to say it right now. You could do this on 2 Crusaders that charged Mortarion. And just be like, it's me and you, big boy. Come on.
Your giant scythe must come down on the low Crusader.
Come on. I'm feeling like a martyr. This is
fight phase
great for fight phase control. This is a great way to get around some of the nasty things we've seen so far, such as the fight's first ability that Custodians have. That would be good. Just run in someone you don't care about. And then run into people you do care about. And tell them to hit those ones.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the lion is in front of me. It'd be a shame if he only could smash
he always fights first. Yeah, hit the rhino. Go ahead. Whatever, man. I don't care.
That's really good.
This is a great strat. This is my favorite one so far. One more. Rejoice the Fallen. This is one of those shoot back strats that we've seen a couple times. So in your opponent's shooting phase, after an enemy unit has resolved its attacks, pick an Adept Sororitas unit that had one or more models destroyed. By definition, it will be below starting strength. Yep. Your unit can shoot as if it was a shooting phase, but must target only that enemy unit when doing so, and only if it's an eligible target. So just shoot back if you kill a model. You can have it's any Adeptus Sororitas unit, but by definition, this is going to be better on infantry because vehicles usually don't lose a model and then shoot back.
Yep.
Yeah. So, okay. This is pretty good. Situational, because sometimes you'll lose too many. But even if someone hammers a Battle Sister squad and you're down to a couple girls, if you shoot back with +1 to hit, +1 to wound because you're below half strength, for 1 CP, I can totally justify this.
Yep.
Like, this will still be useful sometimes.
You used to run those big Retributor squads. So, like, if they lose one regular girl and all the multi-melt is still
back when you could run a 10-girl Retributor squad,
put an end to that?
Yeah, they did. Someone saw what I was doing, and they're like, wait a minute. Yeah, I was a little sad about that.
All right, now you lose the sergeant, and you shoot one.
That's the goal. So, 6 stratagems. A couple of them are situational, but all of them have some real solid value. Most of them are 1 CP, which helps.
Yep, massively.
All right, now we're down to the enhancements. 4 here, as every model except Imperial Knights has. Knights at 5.
Like 5?
It's because they're nobles. Everyone else is a peasant.
Privilege.
So, couple good ones here. Saintly example, when the bear is destroyed, gain an additional D3 Miracle Dice. I don't love an enhancement that hinges off me dying, so I kind of hope this one's cheap. Because I don't want to pay a lot of points. But if it's just like a round out a list, it's 20 points or less, maybe I'll do it. Because D3 extra Miracle Dice when... we actually didn't talk about how you generate Miracle Dice. I'm going to do that in a second. But getting an additional D3 is good. Let me, real quick, I'm pretty sure it says it right here. Yeah, I completely forgot to mention this. Get a Miracle Dice at the start of each turn, so both players, each time an Adeptus Sororitas unit from your army is destroyed. It used to be when you killed someone, now it's when a unit's destroyed. So it no longer snowballs when you're doing well, but it also means you get Miracle Dice when you're losing. I don't know yet if this is better or worse. I think I just have to play with it.
Yeah, just play it out.
Yeah, so we'll see.
It might mean just running a lot more cheap units to get them to die.
That's something I talk about in my top 3 combos, actually. We'll get to that. Now we've got an actually quite respectable relic here. So the Blade of St. Eleanor gives a character +1 attack, strength, damage. If the bearer has lost any wounds, add 2 to the attack's strength damage. So she's going to have a plasma pistol. We're going to be overcharging that one. Overall, though, just +1 strength attack damage I think is quite good to just make a Canoness a little better in melee. I think this is needed.
Yeah. Sisters or previous editions were known for having the combat characters that you could really buff up with relics and warlord traits. So this is like an homage to that.
Yep. Litanies of Faith. At the end of your command phase, if the bearer is on the battlefield, you can reroll 1 Miracle Dice from your pool, not just the one you generate. Just 1 in your pool, you can reroll it.
That one.
The 1, yeah. And then when doing so, if the bearer has lost 1 or more wounds, or is leading a unit below half strength, you can reroll 3 Miracle Dice in this way. That's quite good.
That's probably...
I like rerolling Miracle Dice in general. I'll probably pay a reasonable amount of points for that. And if I ever am at the point where I can reroll 3, I'll do it. Yeah,
I mean, that's where your army-wide rule that's already quite solid, boom, you go ahead and dramatically enhance it to be more efficient. I'm taking that.
Yeah, I'm absolutely. And I love that it's 1 from the pool, not 1 that I generate. Because sometimes I have a turn where I generate 4 1s, and I reroll 1 of them, and then the rest I'm sad. And sometimes I roll like all actually decent, and I don't even use the reroll. So I like this better than the previous version, and I took the previous version. Finally, the Mantle of Ophelia. Pick a Canoness or Palatine. Everything's damage 1. It has to be allocated to the bear, but anytime you attack... Okay. Well, I mean, they're all 1 wound anyway. But each time an attack is allocated to the bearer, change the damage characteristic of that attack to 1. Solid. I don't think that's necessary, honestly. It's fine, but it's not exciting. Yep. So, we're good. And now, we are just down to the data sheets.
So
Let's zoom out just a little bit. And now let's start with Morvan Vahl.
Oh, she is a walker. Yep.
She is a vehicle walker, as you'd expect. Awesome. She's an epic hero. Awesome. She does not, weirdly for the faction leaders, for like the various like High Lords of Terra, she doesn't have a pick 3 rule.
Interesting.
Yeah, she is a High Lord of Terra.
Yes, she is.
But doesn't
that was her rule. It was called High Lord of Terra, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was her like has to be the Warlord rule, I think. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so she still comes with Fidelis, which is a heavy bolter, exactly what you'd think. A Paragon missile launcher, it's a Cyclone missile launcher, ballistic skill 2, exactly what you'd think. The Lance of Illumination is 5 attacks at 8-3 devastating wounds or sweep. That's pretty good. She's a leader. This is new. And when she's leading a unit, that unit rerolls the hit roll and wound roll. So it's a good thing to do. I'll tell you right now, she can only lead one unit. Paragon Warsuits.
Yeah. Exactly. Full reroll student.
Yeah.
I will buy that.
Yeah. Once per battle, in your command phase, you can use this ability. Add 3 to the attacks characteristic of her heavy bolter and the lance. So to go to 8 attacks and then 6 shots on Fidelis. So overall, she is not an army buffer at all. Mm-hmm. But she buffs a Paragon unit. So she is gone. She was a Wrecking Ball that buffed. Only leadership 6 on my High Lord of Terra. Come on.
Same as Call.
Come on. High Lord of Terra. Anyways, she is no longer remotely a buff piece for the army. She just says, me and my Paragons will beat your face in. I do like that, but it is a very different role than what she was before. Doesn't mean she's not good.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let me give the speech now because we're on the first data sheet. Points will matter for all of these data sheets. We don't know them yet. If Vahl is 300 points, I'm not going to take her. If she's 80 points, I'll put her in every list, even if I don't buy Paragons. We'll find out when we find out. We're just going to review it as we have it. So, Morvan Vahl, spicy, very different role than before.
But she can stand back up. That is
stand back up
really
does make me like her a lot more. Because she's a lot more fragile than before.
Definitely.
She used to have a 4 Feel No Pain against mortals and half damage, and she is not that. But standing back up does help the problem a little bit. Down from Morvan Vahl, the generic Canoness. She comes with all of the ranged weapons you'd expect. The Brazier of Holy Fire is interesting. It's an ignore, cover, one-shot flamer at 612. It's cool. Her rules are what matter, and then the Blessed Blade that she can take. Blessed Blade is only 3 attacks at 622. Yikes. 3 attacks does not excite me.
Yikes. It's one more than a Fulgurite Priest.
That's good. That's good. That's good. But that's what she does have. You can reroll the hit roll for any unit she's joined. And so that helps a lot.
What can she join?
That's going to matter. Battle Sisters and Sacresants only.
Okay. Sacresants...
Not Retributors. Hurts a little bit, but Sacresants is the one you actually want to join here. I think more than Battle Sisters. I think it's Sacresants. But still, that part is good. Once per battle at the start of a phase, she pops the Emperor's Grace for a 2-up Bone. That's kind of cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Let's put some Miracle Ice into that. So that's cool. She can give the Bearer's unit, if she takes a Null Rod, a Feel No Pain 4+ against psychic attacks, or she could have the Rod of Office. You can't have both. Mm-hmm. And when you select the Bearer's unit as target of stratagem on a 4+ gain CP. So, interesting options here.
Yeah, it depends on how prevalent Psychic is going to be. How good are the Psychic armies?
Exactly. And, like, Psychic multi-damage, this doesn't actually help because everyone's 1 wound. But, like, Psychic mortal wounds or dev wounds, like, it helps a lot. So, we'll kind of have to see on that. A couple quick notes on her war gear is that she can, I think, only have the, let's see. How does this work? Oh, if the model is equipped with a chain sword, it can take a Brazier of Holy Fire or a Null Rod. So you can only have the Null Rod if you choose the chain sword, which is the Strength 3 B-Damage 1 version. So you're probably not taking that. But she can have a Blessed Blade instead of a chain sword. Or a power weapon instead of a chain sword.
And then you give her the Rod of Office.
And then she can have, if she has a plasma pistol and a power weapon, she can then have a Rod of Office. Very specific. They have a very specific model in mind for each of these.
Yes.
Unfortunate, but that's okay. All right. So, the Palatine.
She has grenades.
I think all of the, basically everything has grenades here. Cool. So the Palatine is now down to 3 wounds. But a T3 3-up armor save unit, 4-up Bone, nice. Has Scout 6 inches, which means that she can basically join Dominions and Scout still. which is pretty useful. While she's leading a unit, all weapons equipped by the unit have lethal hits. That's quite useful. And then each time this model's unit is selected to fight, you can discard 1 Miracle Dice. If you do, until the end of the phase, each time a melee attack made by this model scores a wound, the target suffers 1 mortal wound in addition. So here's the thing. Discard a Miracle Dice. Every wound roll that she rolls is a mortal in addition. It's not dev wounds. It's a little interesting. But you could, with lethal hits, you could get a couple through pretty okay, and just discarding like a 1 is not a big deal at all. Yeah. So interesting rule for her. Mainly, she just gives lethal hits to a unit and hangs out with them and could be a bearer. I'm hoping she's cheap because she is just a 3 wound.
She has 4 attacks.
Battle Sister. 4 attacks at 4/2/2. She is somehow better in combat than the Canoness.
I was going to say, I'm like looking at this. Okay.
Yeah, the Bloody Rose Blender Canoness is unfortunately gone, but that's alright. She can join more options. She can join the Battle Sister Squad, Sacresants, or Dominions or Novitiates. I think Dominions is what you want here for the lethal hits. But lethal hits on Sacresants is not bad. I think rerolling hits is probably good enough there. But is still Sacresants or Dominion squads. You've got some interesting options here. Instead of Blenderness, we just have I will not die this turn Canoness. Yeah, one day. Honestly, I might take a Canoness without a unit and just give her the 1 damage and just run out there and say, I'm a 2-up invuln. I tanked your shooting phase. Next turn, you killed me. I stood up. Like, like, what do you do against that? Hope you got some
Get frustrated.
Yeah. Alright, so we're down into the named Canoness, Judith Eruita. She's quite different. 2-up save, 6 wounds, T4, leadership 6+. She is a flying infantry. She's infantry now. Look at her.
That's good.
On her podium.
Yeah, she looks...
Infantry actually...
She kind of looks mounted to me.
Infantry helps a lot. Honestly, I wish she didn't have fly. Because I don't want things that work on fly to work on me. Because, like, she's not going to join a unit with fly.
Yeah.
But now anti-fly works on her. Still, she can join Battle Sisters and Sacresants, same as a Canoness. Here's what she gives, because I think she's actually quite useful. She has a Ignores Cover Twin-Linked Flamer at 6/1/1. She is 4 attacks at 6/2/2, so the best Canoness in combat so far. This is what's important. -1 to hit for that unit, anyone that targets her unit, and +1 CP in your command phase. So not quite as buffing the squad output, but definitely makes a squad tougher and gives you CP, and actually gives a little bit of like damage up herself rather than buffing the unit that she's with. So interesting counterpoint to a Canoness. There's not a ton of CP manipulation here, so this is actually really important, that gain of CP. I like that part a lot. Yep. We'll have to see how many points more than a Canoness she is. Presumably she costs more, we'll just see how much. Yeah. Down to a Missionary. This is one of the many totally priest units. Let's actually just see who we can join first. Arco-flagellants, Battle Sisters, Crusaders, Novitiates. So like none of the real combat units, just like Arco-flagellants and Crusaders and Novitiates.
Respect the Arco-flagellants.
I do respect them. None of like the sister ones. Gives a unit sustained hits, and he can reroll hits unless battle shocked. Luckily, this priest is leadership 7+. It's a fancy way to get sustained hits 1 on an Arco-flagellant unit with a 4-up invuln, 3 wounds, whatever.
We'll see their data sheet.
We'll see how many points he is.
All right.
Saint Celestine, quite interesting. She hits a little bit less hard than before. So, still a 2-up save, 4-up invuln for everyone. 5 wounds on Celestine, and then 2 wounds on her Gemini. No longer -1 damage for her. The Ardent Blade is still a good flamer. It's actually it's AP2 now, I think. It might have been AP1 before, but still. Ignores cover, AP2 damage 1 is quite useful. The Ardent Blade in melee is 5 attacks at 6/3/2 dev wounds. So lost an attack and a strength, but dev wounds is basically the same as what it was. And then with a nice power weapon on each of the girls. Here's what matters. She's a leader. She can join Seraphim Zephyrim, what you'd expect.
Sounds good.
Sounds, right? Joining her to Zephyrim sounds good. While it contains a Celestine model, you can heal, if the unit's below starting strength, heal 1 destroyed model to the unit. While 1 Gemini is alive, Celestine is a 4-up, feel no pain. And then, the first time Celestine dies on a 2+, she stands up with her full wounds remaining? Full wounds remaining. Here's the trick. Celestine's a character. Gemini are not characters. So in front of the Zephyrim Squad, you're going to have 1 Gemini whose job is to be Celestine's feel no pain. And then you have 1 Gemini whose job is to die.
And come back.
So whenever you shoot that Zephyrim unit, we're going to start by working on a 2-up, 4-up Gemini, who's 2 wounds and is a much more efficient res than a Zephyrim. So and we're going to use a couple of Miracle Ice. It's not going to last forever, but it's just like chip fire that would kill a couple of Zephyrim will kill a Gemini, and then it'll just res her. So that's a little bit of value there. She's a little bit of a tank, but not a full tank. And Celestine herself is not quite as good output as she used to be. I'm hoping that means that Apothecary Saint Celestine is a little bit cheaper than before. We'll have to see how that plays out. Still, hits quite well. Nice tank for a Zephyrim unit. You can build a good combat unit, I think, out of a Celestine and a Zephyrim unit to just go around the battlefield and bully people.
Yep.
All right, zooming right through. Here's the bread and butter. This is the triumph of saying this is important because this is what you build an army around. She's the new Morvan Vahl, honest to goodness. But before I dive into the triumph, let's take a moment to look through some of these chats we got. So first up, Christian Reichman, thank you so much, and welcome to the War in Bronze. We really appreciate your support. It means everything to us.
Thanks so much.
And then Matto has hit us with a super chat.
Matto,
welcome. Folks are wild. Sisters seem fine. Dialogus-led Rets next to the Triumph, rolling as many 6s as they want seems fun. You know, Matto, I do have a strong opinion on Dialogus-led Rets next to the Triumph. You can find out about that in the Worm. But also, it's good. We'll talk about it when we get there. And I agree. I think... So here's a quick pitch for the chat, which is looking a little bit negative right now. So, 7 Imperium armies came out today, like 5 Chaos armies yesterday. I have seen about 10 of those 12 factions, the community have an overall negative response saying their army is worse than average. I promise, more than half of the... Yeah, exactly.
It's not
You can do the math. More than half of the armies in the game are not worse than average. I promise. I don't even know which ones are or which ones aren't, but it's not more than half. I think playing a little bit with every army is going to be important, because honestly, 9th to 10th, I think almost every army, except Deathwatch for 2 days, is worse now than it was a month ago. But if everyone stepped down relatively, that doesn't mean they're worse. Mm-hmm. So... I think Sisters are going to have a lot of playstyle. Genuinely, I'm not just saying that. But I think we need to wait and see a little bit with Sisters and get them on the table. Their strength is almost always in unconventional ways. Sisters are very rarely a conventional beat-you-up power army. Nor should they be. Right? That's not really their thing. It's faith, miracles, praying to the Emperor, and somehow, the Emperor rewards you at the critical moment. And you bounce a las cannon off of Battle Sister to hold an objective. That's what Sisters are about, and I think they can still do that. Back to the Triumph. She's awesome. She's an 18-wound T3 model with a 3-up save and a 4-up invuln. She's a leader. I like that part. She can only join Battle Sister squads, though. I'll just let you know of that now. And a Battle Sister now caps at 10, not 20.
Sisters are going to have such weird units with their characters and flying Judith and... It's just going to look wild.
It is going to look funny. Her 18 attacks at weapon skill 2, strength 5, V2 damage 1. Cool. Here's what matters. She has one rule. At the start of the battle round, you select up to 2 out of 6 relics that are active. All 6 of them are auras, and it's active until the next battle round. These are very good. Let's go through them one at a time. The Fiery Heart. Adeptus Sororitas units within 6 inches of this model can use, if they're destroyed, the Miracle Dice you gain is a 6. Don't roll it, it's a 6. If something cheap dies near you, maybe several somethings, multiple 6s. This is good.
That one seems very good.
That is very good. The early game, I expect you to use this. Censor of the Sacred Rose. Improve leadership by 1. Generic, occasionally useful. Probably not the one I pick, but that's why I get to choose 2. Friendly Adeptus Sororitas is within 6 inches. You can perform as many acts of faith as you want instead of 1.
So Celestine's you just slam the miracle dice into
Yeah,
it?
you try to shoot her, and she's like, the Gemini tanks, I'm going to use 4 2s. We're good.
Awesome.
The Simulacrum of the Argent Shroud. While a friendly Adeptus Sororitas unit is within 6 inches of this model, add 1 to the attack's characteristic of rapid-fire weapons. You're not going to use this one. That's fine. There is others, and they're good. I think 2 of these are just whatever, but 4 of them are good. While a friendly Adeptus Sororitas unit was within 6 inches of this model, Feel No Pain 6+, this is unit. It's not infantry. This is Rhinos. This is Exorcists. This is Castigators. I think early game, I could really see myself popping Fiery Heart, Valorous, and Valorous Heart. Finally, 6-inch aura of melee weapons get lethal hits. This is useful.
Yep.
I could really see Fiery Heart and Valorous Heart for turns 1 and 2. Stockpile Miracle Dice, make them as good as possible. I'm not really spending them yet. Then turn 3 on, we're going Violence. We're in melee now. Lethal hits for everyone. Everyone gets to use as many Miracle Devices as they want. Let's hit the button. I could see this really going that way. All right. That's good. That's it. She can join Battle Sisters. You're going to need to keep her protected, but at least if she dies, you can stand her up once.
She basically has a whole squad of ablative wounds.
Yeah. So she's going to have 10...
Gonna be hard to kill.
She's going to be difficult to get. She's no longer -1 to hit. That makes me sad. But still, 4 Penvuln. When you get to the mid-game, she will give herself use as many Miracle Dice as you want. At that point, good luck, Chief. Try killing the Triumph with her 18 wound 4 Penvuln when she can use as many Miracle Dice as she wants. It's not going to be fun.
And now you have to get her to 5 wounds to stop.
5 wounds to 5 wounds to get 1 relic.
That's fine.
She's quite good, I think. I think you could really build around her. So that's the Triumph. Next we have the Daemonifuge, which is Ephrael, Stern, and Kaiganel. Both are T3, 5 wounds at 3 wounds, 4 Penvuln for everyone, 3 up armor on Stern. They still don't really buff much, but they hit. They Deep Strike fights first lone operative. They can use Heroic Intervention for 0 CP even if you've already used it. And they hit decently. Sanctity is Anti-Chaos 2+ Precision. All of this is Precision. So 4 attacks, 6/2/2, Weapon Skill 2. 6 attacks at 4/1/1, Weapon Skill 2. All Precision. The big one is Anti-Chaos 2+. In your shooting phase, you can give an enemy unit within 12 inches a leadership test. -2 if they're Chaos. If they fail, 3 mortals. Fun fact, this is a leadership test, not a Battle Shock test. While it is performed the same way as Battle Shock test, all of the Battle Shock better rules, like Synapse, don't help here. So a Tyranny unit in Synapse range, like the Swarm Lord, is going to fail a leadership test more often than not. So it's just like, oh cool, 3 mortals. 3 mortals. Yeah, it's exactly. So this is actually not, the Holy Judgment's not bad. I think this needs to be cheap. But like a fights first lone operative that can go beat up 5 incursors reliably, that's a value.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like her role is just different. It's more like counter assault but control the topside objective.
Yeah, that's all she's doing. She's trying to go find a flank far away from anyone, beat up the random trash that is over there because she will beat up trash. And she also has Acts of Faith, so she can use Miracle Dice now, which is a departure from before. So, that's Ephrael Stern. She is not a leader. She doesn't join anyone. But if she's not too expensive, I don't mind a skirmishing lone operative that fights first, honestly. The Battle Sister Squad. 10 girls, no matter what. Leadership 7+ hurts, but T3, 3 up save, 1 wound, what you'd expect profile-wise. Comes with the weapons you'd expect. Same loadouts as before. You can take as many as before. I'm not going to really elaborate on that. Couple War Gear things. 1, the unit comes with a Cherub now. This isn't a War Gear. This is just something you come with. Once per battle, after you perform an act of faith, gain a Miracle Dice.
Very good.
So once a game, you use a Miracle Dice, toss the Cherub, and say, I gain a new one. So what that practically means is when you have a 2 and a 1 and a 3 and some not very valuable things, you use it on the hit roll of a Meltagun in this squad. And you'll just grab your 1s through 3s and funnel them through the Cherubs so that you can use it, get a new one. And we'll just try to do that. You're also a Defender of the Faith. At the end of your command phase, for each objective marker you control that has 1 or more units within range of it, with this rule, gain a Miracle Dice. So if you just have Battle Sisters holding down 2 objectives, 2 Miracle Dice at the end of your command phase. So this really helps your Miracle Dice generation. It's important. Finally, the Simulacrum Imperialis. This is a War Gear, so you have to choose to take this. We'll see if it's that many points. Each time a unit is destroyed by the bearer's unit, gain a Miracle Dice. That's not bad. If you can whittle someone down, and then just, there's 1 Intercessor left, fire a Multi-Melta at them. Use a Miracle Dice, then kill the Intercessor, gain 2 Miracle Dices because you also pop your Cherub. Yeah. Done. Love it.
Seems good. And the Battle Line unit, which I don't know if you have a lot of rules that interact with Battle Line.
Not a ton here, but Agents might. Yes, we'll be talking about after this, funny enough. So, Battle Sister Squad, quite solid. Only 10 now. I wish you could still take 5.
I'm there. Ah,
yeah.
Games Workshop, please.
We have it better than you. We'll talk about it later, but you can use an Immolator to combat squad. So that's kind of cool. All right. Novitiates. Much worse in melee than before because Bloody Rose doesn't exist. This is this is just 10 girls with a 4-up save. One of them has a 3-up save instead. Leadership 7+ 8 on the normal girls. Jeez. To keep the superior alive. Reroll a hit roll of 1. If you're hitting someone on an objective, reroll the hit. It is a bucket of, it's 2 attacks each at 4, 0, 1. Hitting on 4s, but reroll hits. If you have a banner in the unit, you can reroll advance and charge. If you have a Simulacrum, when you destroy a unit, gain a Miracle Dice. Special weapons, you can take, I think, 2 Flamers. Yeah, 2 Flamers, and then like a Plasma Pistol and a Power Weapon on the Sergeant. Nothing too exciting here. This is just presumably just a cheaper version of a Battle Sister Squad, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
Just a cheaper version is okay with me. Yeah, that's it. This unit is not very deep, but sometimes you just want a cheap thing to hold.
It's still OC2 though. So
still OC2. If it's not expensive because they're not doing much, that's fine. Cheap OC2 with a 4-up armor save is useful. It's not flashy, but it's useful.
Now, I had no idea what this model did in 9th edition. I've never seen it on the table. What does it do now in 10th?
This is the only unit in this, the only model in the Sisters collection that I don't own. But Astred, Thurga, and Agathae Dolan are better than before. 2-up save on Astred, Thurga, 4 wounds. Agathae Dolan, unfortunately, is hitting with a 6-up save, 3 wounds, but whatever, we got 4-up invuln. That's what matters. Here's what's important. The Scribe's Staff is 3 attacks at 401. But the Blade Vigil is 522. Only weapon skill 3, 4 attacks. That's not what matters. She's a leader. She gives a unit's melee weapons devastating wounds. That's what's important. And while Agathae Dolan's part of the unit, each time this unit performs an act of faith, the result of one of the Miracle Dice is first improved by 1. So anytime you use a Miracle Dice, you can just be like, it's 1 higher. It's 1 higher. To a max of 6, still very good. So give the unit dev wounds and improve, by 1. I like that. I think that's very good. She can join Battle Sisters, Sacresants, Dominions, or Retributors. Of these, only one of them has melee weapons. Your choice.
I want my Retributors hitting hard.
While my Retributors, yeah. They are better than before. They are better than... She's, I guess, the group of 2. Now we have the Imagifier. 3 wound Sisters character with a 4-up invuln. 4-up invuln is nice. A lot of the Sisters characters got a better invuln, actually, which is pretty useful. Each time you use a Miracle Dice as a result of... Or gain a Miracle Dice because someone nearby you is destroyed, you can re-roll the result. This is good. I feel like it conflicts with the Triumph a little bit much.
It's also... How many destroyed units is she going to be nearby? Is she going to be in the middle of your ball army?
It is 12 inches, which is
12
nice.
inches, okay. Fair enough.
12 inches is nice. While this model is leading a unit, though, she gives them a 4-up invuln. And while she's leading Sacresants, who already have a 4-up invuln, she gives them a 2-up armor. This little bit of defense is quite nice.
So she leads Sacresants, what else?
She can lead Battle Sisters, Sacresants, Dominions, Retributors.
Okay.
In my mind, this is probably best on a Battle Sister or Dominion. Just get a 4-up invuln on one of these 2 units, and she can be attached to a Battle Sister Squad, only Battle Sister Squad, if a Canoness, Palatine, or Judith is already there. So you could build like a decent unit. It's like everyone's a 4-up invuln, this and like Judith. Now they're -1 to hit, 4-up invuln. Like that's actually kind of annoying to shift. Yeah. Not impossible, but annoying. And then honestly, I think I might actually give her that litany of get D3 Miracle Dice when she dies and just push that unit up and just be like, this is going to take a while, and also when you do, I'll still profit. All right. We're getting to the spice here because some of this is bland, but some of it is spicy. The Dialogus is yet another 3-wound Battle Sister character. Only a 6-up invuln.
She forgot about the Iron Halo.
She forgot her Iron Halo at home because she is too busy carrying her Loud Hailer. The unit she's in can be selected as the target of a stratagem, even when battle shocked. Yeah, whatever. Stirring Rhetoric. While this model is leading a unit, each time this unit performs an act of faith, each time, that's weird, you can only do 1 a phase, unless you're here for the Triumph, the result of 1 Miracle Dice used in that act of faith is first changed to a 6. And this is the combo.
Where can she go in?
Retributors. Nothing else, she can only go in Retributors. If you somehow figured out a way to join her to a Battle Sister Squad, sure, you could put her in with another character, but she only joins Retributors. So here's the thing. You put her next to a Retributor Squad. You hide that Retributor Squad for dear life. Turn 2 or 3, once the Triumph turns on the everyone gets Miracle Dice faucet, this unit comes out next to her, and they just pick all of your bad dice and make them 6s and shoot them out of their Meltaguns. You just shoot 6s at people out of your Meltas. And yeah, it's impossible to find something that wounds a battle tank on better than a 5-up in this book. So you better have some 6s. Take the Dialogus. Yeah, like, the anti-tank weapons in this book are strength 10 and under, so have a Dialogus and just make everything a 6 and wound.
Go multi-meltas!
Yeah. Now, I joke about how she can only bleed rats. She's actually quite good if you can attach her to the same unit as a Palatine, which would be a Dominion squad with some meltaguns, because then you get lethal hits.
Yep.
And instead of then having to Miracle Ice both the hit and the wound roll, you just slap 4 6s down, or 4 any Miracle Ice. Say, they're all 6s, lethal hits, the meltaguns all hit and wounded. Take your saves. And I've got a bad news for you about the damage characteristic for all these failed saves. We'll just spoil it now. It's a 6. I'll toss a 2 in there and it's a 6. The Dialogus is amazing. I actually want several. I hope she's cheap, because she doesn't do anything else, but the one thing she does is good.
Yep.
So I like her.
She's going to be a precision target for sure.
She is going to be out of line of sight. Hopefully. Dialogus auto take 100% confirmed. Dialogus and Triumph both auto takes. Preacher. This is the not missionary guy. I don't remember if he's the better or worse one. Alright, hold on. He can lead Arco-flagellants, Crusaders, or Novitiates, so he can't even lead Battle Sisters. But he does give them +1 to wound. And once per battle, he can improve the strength and attacks characteristics of his chainsword by 2.
Wow.
Or his Zealot's Vindicator, which at that point, that's like 5 attacks at 7/1/2. That's not great, but it's slightly better.
Wow.
Okay, he's like 30 points, and you just give a good melee unit +1 to wound.
Yeah.
Which means that I hope Arco-flagellants are good. Fun fact, by the way, all of these missionary ministerium units,
yep.
all of them have acts of faith. That is new. You normally cannot Miracle Ice these units. Now you can.
I'm going to Miracle Dice this guy for sure when he's popping off.
Oh, the Zealot's Vindicator with his 5 attacks? That's what you use it on.
This man's going ham.
Yeah. Sacresants. Right after the Missionary, where they belong, because order means nothing here.
No, it doesn't.
All right. Sacresants are pretty good, but a little different from before. Only a 3-up save.
But
Leadership 7.
The one character can give
character can give him a 2-up.
Yeah.
Come with a 4-up invuln, 3-up save, 1 wound at Leadership 7. I'm hoping that a worse save here means that these are kind of cheap. But
what does the shield do?
Nothing.
Awesome.
I guess that's why they have a 4-up invuln.
Okay, yeah. 4-up invuln, yeah.
The 4-up invuln's not nothing, but yeah. While there is a Canoness, Palatine, or Judith in the unit, -1 to wound. They are still toughness 3, but that is nice.
Yep.
Baby transhuman essentially for all the big guns coming your way. Mostly though, this is shooting bolt guns and trash at me to force your way through a 3-up save is going to take longer than you want. If Junus there, that is -1 to hit and wound. Now, unfortunately, that join 2 characters to unit was only for Battle Sisters, not for...
They made that exception.
They made an exception, so you cannot do Junith and a banner and the Sacresants. Otherwise, you'd be -1 to hit, -1 to wound, 2-up armor, 4-up invuln. I would do that. Maybe that's why they wouldn't let me. Who could say? Their melee, though, is either 2 attacks at 5-2-1 or 2 attacks at 4-1-2. Not really sure which one's better.
Not terribly impressive.
Not terribly impressive either way you slice it. Spear of the Faithful is the sergeant-only weapon at 5-2-2. That's nice. But not super impressed with this. I feel like you need to be stacking some rerolls, which is like a Canoness, and then lethal hits, which is a Palatine, and then dev wounds, except you can only have one of those 3 at a time. You can get lethal hits off of the Triumph. So I think it's not going to be... I think it's a Canoness, and then you the Triumph, and you just get full rerolls to hit lethal hits, and you try to power through that way. But the AP is a little lower than I wanted.
Definitely. Especially with the Armor of Contempt existing
Yeah,
as a strat.
So the painful part here is that all of these weapons lost a point of AP, and then also we lost Bloody Rose at the same time.
And strength, right? Wasn't the...
They did also both lose strength.
Okay.
Yes. So that's a little painful, honestly. But the -1 to wound does make them, hope on them, a little better. I'm really hoping Sisters end up being a real MSU army.
Yeah, this means it's like, okay, you're probably going to kill my Battle Sisters with what you have pointed in this direction. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put the Sacresants out, and now you might not actually...
Yeah, you actually have to commit something here. We do have some more to go through, though. The Hospitaller gives the unit a 5-up Feel No Pain, which is nice, but it is basically going to be on 1 wound models. So let's keep that in mind. At the end of your movement phase, select a friendly infantry character within 3, regain 3 lost wounds. You can no longer res models with her, only heal characters.
Healing.
But a 5-up Feel No Pain is nice.
Healing any of them, right?
Any infantry characters.
So anybody but Vahl.
Yeah, so she could heal Celestine. So there is some decent value to the Hospitaller. Hopefully she's cheap. She can join basically all of the units. Nice. You probably want her in a larger one. Again, she can be attached to a Battle Sister Squad with a Canoness, Palatine, or Judith. So you could put her and Judith in the same squad and have that unit be a little tankier, or etc. But you can't join her and the 4-up Invuln in the same squad. That would be nice.
That would be strong.
They're putting some limits on these.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Next is the Dogmata, the former hero of 9th edition. I think she's a little bit worse. But while she's leading a unit +1 OC, this is really nice. And something that I've kind of mentioned with all the Vexla's equivalents is that we don't know how modifiers work in 10th yet. But if it's the same as 9th, if you made OC 0 and then added 1, you would be a net 1. So this could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But she's also an aura of enemies or 6-inch aura of -1 battle shock and leadership. I feel like 6 inches is a little too short.
6 is a little too short. The Sakaran Infiltrator have the same rule.
Yeah, but she's just a 6-inch moving girl with 3 wounds and a 6-up Invuln. Her Invuln got worse, actually. She used to be a better Invuln, I think.
What can she join? The same basics?
Same people you'd expect. Battle Sisters, Celestians, Dominions, Retributors. Same thing, she can join a Battle Sister unit with Canoness, Palatine, Judith, but not any of the other ones. So, Paragon Warsuits. Alright, I know
Here we go.
I tried not to say it. This is the one that the most points matter, I think. This is everything here. But T6, 4 wounds, 2-up armor, 4+ Invuln, no longer -1 damage, shoot and charge in a turn in which they fell back. If Vahl's attached, remember that they roll hits and wounds.
Yeah.
And suddenly we're a little spicy. So what you can do with that is everyone can have a Multi-Melta or Heavy Bolter or Heavy Flamer, and everyone comes with either a Stormbolter or... I'm sorry, 2 Stormbolters? Oh, no, oh, man, they lost one. So it used to be 2 Stormbolters, now it's just 1. But they can replace with a Grenade Launcher, which is actually good, because it is 1 shot at 9-2D3 twin-linked. And I actually like the Paragon Grenade Launcher more than 1 Stormbolter here. We'll see how many points that is, but it's not bad. Then their melee is either 4 attacks at 6-2-2 weapon skill 3, or 3 attacks at 12-1-3 weapon skill 4.
12-1-3?
Yeah, 12-1-3.
What is 1? That should be 2.
I really feel like the AP of both of these weapons needs to be 1 higher. With that said, I like the Warblade more, I think. Volume, potentially rerolls from Vahl, because I don't really see myself taking multiple Paragons. They're not going to be cheap. They might be cheaper, as a matter of fact, I think they need to be, but they're not going to be cheap.
They have grenades, too.
They have the grenade strat, yeah. Funny enough, they also have a bolt pistol. Pew pew! So, this is really like, how many points is this?
2-up save and cover is very powerful.
2-up save plus cover and access to Miracle Ice is very powerful. They are walkers. 4-up Invuln, they used to be a 6-up Invuln. That's really good combined with Miracle Ice. They're also relatively easy to hide for being a walker. Maybe it's because they're smaller than some infantry. Who could say? But this is there's a lot of potential in this data sheet. If it's the 85 points a model that it was on release of 9th edition, I don't think I would take it because they're not -1 damage. And they could just
wounds,
die. They also have no mortal wound protection at all that we've seen so far in this codex. That is important.
I honestly haven't seen too much mortal protection in general.
That's fair. Maybe I'm just focusing on it when I see it, but none here. My take is that I think they need to be a little bit cheaper than they are at the end of 9th edition. And if so, I think they're quite viable. And then Morvan Vahl is a very good buff PC if you take Paragons.
Yeah.
So
totally.
We'll see where all of this ends up. It's hard to make a prediction. But overall, I think I like Paragons. The damage output, I think you just go Paragon Warblade, full rerolls from Vahl, and you pop +1 to wound. And I think that's good enough because I just don't trust AP1 at all.
AP1 is the killer.
I don't trust AP1. You know what? Maybe you take 1 War Mace. Can you mix? Any number of models. And you use that to tank shock.
That's fair.
It's kind of funny. Maybe it is 1 mace, 2 Warblades, and the mace tank shocks.
Yeah.
All right, actually, I kind of like that idea.
2 grenades, then tank shock.
Yep. And it's just 3 models, no options here. All right. Now, down the line, we've got a Repentia Squad. Let's get my Repentia back. 2 attacks each. Weapon skill 4, 622. Not the same as it was, but they always reroll the hit roll. And if you made a charge move, you also reroll the wound roll. So you can get the same rerolls back as before. 2 attacks hurts a little bit, especially when you can see that we lost the exploding 6s in combat. So it's no longer like 4s to hit full rerolls. We're averaging 100% hit rate.
Yeah.
This is a unit of 1 superior and 4 to 9 Repentia. So at max, we've got 18 Repentia attacks. That's expecting about 13 hits. 13 and a half, I think. It's not bad. Kind of want some lethal hits in here. I wish they had that built in. I really wish the Penitent Eviscerator had lethal hits or something built in. But at least you can get lethal hits for being near the Triumph.
Yeah.
No longer advance and charge, but they have 5 up, feel no pain, and a 6 up, invuln still. And then the Sister Repentia, as long as she's there, you get the reroll hits and things, so don't let her die. No one can join this unit. They are just by themselves. This is another one. I think they need to be cheap.
Yeah.
Now, Repentia have been too good for an addition, so fair enough. But they do not hit as hard as they used to.
No.
Yeah, 2 attacks. Even if you get full rerolls on the charge, 2 attacks at 622.
Is it only when you charge?
Only when I charge, yeah. So reroll hits all the time, reroll wounds if I charge you. It's a little shaky.
Yeah.
But this is still good at clearing out like intercessors and things. But I'm hoping they're a little bit cheaper because you can't advance and charge.
The unit dramatically punched up against almost everything in the game. Nah, I think there's like, no. Not anymore.
But now, that's fine if they change their role. I just don't want them to cost the same if they're going to change their role. Yeah, so we'll see. After years and years of Bloody Rose Repentia spam, yeah, that's gone. Alright, so that is Repentia. Crusaders. This is a unit I like. So while a missionary or preacher is leading this unit, they have a 4 up against mortal wounds. That's not the point.
Come on, the missionary.
Nope. 1 wound, T3, 3 up save, 4 up invuln. Cool. Here's what's important. 2 to 6 models. I don't care about 6. 2 models, acts of faith. Look, we don't know how many points they are, but let's be real here. This unit currently is like 30 points for 2. It's not going to be 100. 2 models is probably going to be cheap. They're acts of faith. Use them to play tactical cards. Use them to run out and die for Miracle Dice. Use them to die specifically within 6 inches of the Triumph of St. Catherine. And we're good.
Yep. And use them on that strat.
And use them on that strat. I want 3 units of these. Yep. Whatever of the various Ministorum units, whichever one is the cheapest min squad, that's the one I want. And then I'll probably look at the second cheapest one.
Your sacrifice will not be in vain.
Yeah, go in there, tie up Mortarion for a CP, give me a 6 on a Miracle Dice at the end of it. We'll call it even. No problem. Like, go forth, my tiny shielded kings.
Lambs.
Absolutely. They are going to die, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Still, I think as long as this unit is as cheap as you'd expect it to be in that 30 to 40 point range, value. All right. Death Cult Assassins. They fights first. That's cool. 5 up save, 5 up invuln. Cool. 1 wound T3. And this isn't what's important. Also a unit of 2. The Death Cult Power Blades are actually not bad, though. Weapon skill 2, 4, 2, 1, 4 attacks precision. A unit of 2 of these with fights first could actually just like scoop up like an intercessor or 2 every time you like skirmish with them. So you could take this as a slightly larger unit if you wanted to like try to do some damage. And again, this is an Adeptus Sororitas unit with Acts of Faith. They actually get all the buffs if you want. +1 wound wouldn't even be terrible here. But in general, I like another alternative cheap unit to go do a thing. Yep. Move 7, very nice. Fights first, kind of annoying. This isn't a good unit, but like if it's just skirmishing around and it's like the last 5 cultists against 2 Death Cult Assassins, it kind of does get annoying that they fight first.
Bring out your trash.
It's actually a point where it's like, oh, we're skirmishing with complete garbage trash units. Mine is better than yours. And also, oh, I died, I get a Miracle Dice. And also the Death Cult Assassins go in and tell Magnus, please hit me. I've been bad. And then he does, and then no one else gets hit, and we're good.
Yeah, well, the 2-man can't be below half strength, so...
That's true.
So 2-man can't be below half strength, so it'll always count for an objective unless you fail, like a battle shock a different way.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. I like Death Cult Assassins and Crusaders, just 2 different cheap squads.
Dominions. Why are they here?
Brother,
what?
I don't know, man.
Why are they not in the Battle Sisters?
All right, this is a Battle Sister unit with Scout 6 and OC 1. Scout 6 is nice. I like that. They have a Cherub, same as before. Holy Vanguard. They can reroll advance rolls. It's not
Do
that
they have assault
inspiring.
weapons? Yeah.
All their weapons are assault.
Okay.
So even their bolt guns... Oh, that's weird.
So
Their
this is to be
bolt
able
gun
to-
is rapid fire 2. So it's a different bolt gun than the other one. It's weird. One shot, rapid fire 2. Storm bolters are damage 2 because they're artificier, meltaguns, flamers, all good things. Now it is a 10 strong, not a 5 strong. You can no longer run a 10. Or no, you can no longer run a 5. But otherwise, Battle Sister unit. Pretty good. I like scouts. I like special weapons. I think you want to use an Immolator to forcibly split them. But not bad.
The assault is important because being able to advance onto an objective and still count as being eligible to shoot lets you do all those actions.
And rerolling an advance roll, what I really want, honestly, is to have have a 10 Dominion, split in half, have weapons and an Immolator, 5 girls that are just going to scout, run around the battlefield. Yep. Scout, move, advance, get onto an objective, be like, I advanced, but I have an assault weapon, I can do an action. And I don't fire my bolt guns and call it a day.
Yep.
So I think Dominions are going to be good mission play. Hopefully they are very similar in cost to a Battle Sister, because they're not much better. Alright. Seraphim. These are interesting and I like them. In your shooting phase after this unit is shot, if it's not in engagement range, you can make a 6-inch normal move. That's good.
That's very good.
None of its weapons are inherently assault, but here's a fun fact of 10th edition that people probably haven't noticed yet. There's nothing saying you can't normal move after you deep strike. So you can deep strike, 9 away, shoot bolt pistols and flamers at people, 6-inch move, try to get into a deployment zone from behind enemy lines, onto an objective to contest it. That is a very hard thing to screen out. You're not even trying to charge. Just trying to get into places.
That's funny. That rule wasn't in the core rules of 9th edition. It was a rare rules designer commentary thing.
Yep.
With repositioned and replaced units. So.
And it's not in 10th edition that we've seen at all.
So.
And because they keep putting and you can't charge, I think it's intentional.
It very well might be.
Yeah, I think they didn't want the 8th edition Yanari Deep Strike move 14 inches and then charge you because no one liked that. Except Nick. No one else liked that. But in general, I think this is the exact same as before. 3 up armor, 5 up invuln, OC1, fly, 12-inch move. You can take double hand flamers on 2 girls. However, this is a little bit different. For every 5 models, you can do it, which means a tenor could have 4 girls with 2 hand flamers, which is actually 8 hand flamers. So you can get more weapons in a larger squad. Before, it was 2 models could take it no matter what, which means a large squad was literally irrelevant because you couldn't take the guns. But this is actually... A tenor of Seraphim is actually much more valuable than before. But I like this rule. I think this is a good mission play unit. I hope it's cheap. And I hope I'm just zipping around with Ignores Cover, Strength 4 AP Dash, Hand Flamers. Because a unit of 5 is still 4d6 hits. I'll take that. I'm not at all mad about that.
They will crush your opponent's skirmishing cheap units.
Yeah, I just want this to kill cultists and then zip behind a wall. All I want to do is I want to be MSU all over the place. You have MSU, your MSU is dead. All right, start hunting down units with your 10 Custodian Guard that can't multi-charge in really any directions. And oh no, I have to countercharge you. Boop. Fight me. Yeah. I want this armor to be MSU. And I feel like this is what it's building towards. This is very much building towards MSU. Zephyrim. Same stat line you'd expect, 5 up invuln. Their melee, 3 attacks at 4-2-1. And then +1 strength if you made a charge move, which is 3 attacks then at 5-2-1. AP2, a little bit sad, but it's in line with everything else, so I can't really complain that much. It's in line with other power weapons. Yep. No real rerolls here. I was actually really hoping that they'd bring it back. But if you have the Sacred Banner, you can reroll Advance and Charge, but you can't Advance and Charge. It's just reroll the Advance, reroll the Charge, separate things. Bolt pistols. There really aren't any weapon options here.
Feels like they should just put a qualifier in here. Bodyguard for Celestine. Is what I'm
looking at. This is exactly what this is. This is Celestine's Bodyguard.
Ablative wounds for Celestine.
Yeah. And I wish they hit a little harder, but that seems to be a common theme for Sisters.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it all plays out here. Again, I think Zephyrim need to be a little cheaper than they are right now, but if they're a little worse, a little cheaper, and that's just the theme of Sisters, that's fine.
It's the case of some of these armies from 9th edition having a sub-faction that was so dominant that it was the playstyle of the army. Bloody Rose for Sisters, great example. Mm-hmm. Losing that means the army is just so different.
It really is.
Yeah.
We've got a super chat from Frosty Forge, our good friend Chris. Chris, so good to have you in the chat, man. Thank you so much. Been glued to the phone all day. Y'all have been doing the Emperor's work today. Mm-hmm. All right, Chris. Apparently Chris is waiting on an Eldari review, which I'm sure will happen sometime.
We are loyal sons of the Emperor.
Nothing but over here. So, Thank you so much, Frosty Forge, for the support. We really appreciate you. Good to have you in the chat.
Thanks,
All
Chris.
right. Zephyrim. Yeah, the +1 strength would be given to Celestine, which I do like a lot. That does take her to strength 7, which does feel a little bit better.
And then +1 to wounds.
You could +1 to wound the whole unit, and I think you would. And at that point, you're actually getting a quite respectable combat unit out of this. So I think in the end, that's okay.
Yep.
And I think that +1 to wound strat was basically mandatory. This book had to have it, but I'm glad it does. That's Zephyrim. Retributors.
It's funny. That +1 to wound strat on low strength weapons is actually good into those elite infantry units that have, if your strength is greater than our toughness characteristic, you're -1 to wound. You're like, first of all, I'm not -1 to wound. I'm +1 to wound.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, right? You go find something like Custodes,
Grey Knight
Wardens, or Grey Knight Paladins. Are Grey Knight Paladins D5, like -1 to wound if your strength? So I'm going to wound you on 3s, even though no one can wound you on 3s. I can. That's funny. All right. Retributors. They have 2 cherubs. Each one is, after you use it, pop it, gain a miracle dice. So same thing as before. Reroll 1s to wound at ranged. No longer ignore cover. Standard Sisters stat line. Here's the big thing. Unit of 5.
That is.
And they can take the weapons you'd expect.
No more ablative wounds.
No ablative wounds. Just 5 girls, 4 multi-meltas, and a dream. Yes, you can still take heavy flamers, and yes, you can still take heavy bolters. You're not.
6s.
Yeah.
Dialogus and the
Dialogus is just firing 6s at 18-inch range, because there's nothing, like, that's what you do. Not that much to say with Retributors. I think you just, a lot of the characters couldn't join them, but the Dialogus can, and that is the one you want. It's so night and day. You want the Dialogus. You want it near the Triumph. And when you get to that point, you just rack out multi-alphas on people. All right. Retributors. There we go. Mortifiers. We're actually getting spicy here. I like the walkers a lot. There is one problem with them, but we'll talk about that in a second. They either get two heavy bolters or 2 mortifier flamers. Right? Is that true? They get 2 mortifier flamers. Oh yeah, they do get 2. So that's funny. It's a twin linked weapon that they get 2 of.
Nice.
So that would then be 2d6 shots at 5/0/1 ignore cover torrent twin linked. Like that a lot. Their special rule is that if they make a charge, they get sustained hits 1. That's cool. They are basically either going to be 4 attacks at 10-3-2 sustained hits 1, reroll wounds, or 8 attacks at 5-1-1 twin linked. Again, reroll wounds, sustained hits 1. You get 1 anchorite per unit, which is a 3-up save. Otherwise, you're a 4-up save, 6-up invuln, 5-up feel no pain, which I like. Unit of 1 to 2.
Ooh, units of 1.
Yeah, so if you happen to own 12 of those,
yikes.
6 of them are penitents now.
Same for my Iron Strider. Tier.
Yeah, fair enough.
But a 1-man just dying will generate you miracle dice.
Or a 1-man, since it's a walker, will go soak up the party and just be like, me. I like mortifiers a lot. Just cheap vehicles running around. Because they're probably not that expensive.
Yeah.
That's good. What I like even more than a mortifier is a Penitent Engine. Penitent Engines come with Penitent Flamers. 2d6. So basically just 2 mortifiers strapped together. Ignore cover, torrent, twin linked. Assault. They can advance and shoot where the mortifier couldn't.
That is nice.
They can also advance and charge.
Okay.
4-up armor, no invuln. 5-up feel no pain. Still kind of tough for like a T6 5 wound thing. 4-up. It's just like weirdly annoying to kill. Like, what do you want to kill that
I don't
with?
really, because you have to put real anti-tank into this.
Yep. Yeah, it's just a little bit weird no matter what you do. The melee is basically the same, except it comes with sustained hits 1. No joke, they were like, the Mortifier special rule, get sustained hits when it charges. Penitents, just have it. And also advance and charge. And also advance and shoot. Penitent Engines are great. The best part is, they get miracle dice.
How many models can you run?
Still 2.
Okay.
Which means you can run 6.
Yeah.
That's what I would like. I would like to run 6. Yeah, advance and charge, use miracle dice. This is the best place to use a miracle dice on advance roll. Sling them 14 inches downfield, charge people. They actually hit pretty hard.
Flame them. Then
Flame them on the way. Good overwatch on the return. I like it. All good stuff here. The Exorcist, I think this is the biggest winner of the book as far as the vehicles go. It's indirect. That's it.
Is that good?
That's good.
Is that good?
The real thing is that it's a 6-inch aura of Adeptus Sororitas, improved leadership by 1 for infantry. That is a big deal. We've seen that the leadership was kind of bad across the board. the characters were 6 or 7, the units were 7. This is just +1 for everything. That helps a lot. Mm-hmm. Now you have your choice of indirect missiles. You have to choose in list writing because you replace a missile launcher with a different missile launcher. And you've got 2 options. You can either be heavy ignores cover indirect fire, so the indirect fire penalty doesn't matter at all. And then you are 3d6 shots at 501. Good horde clear, your blast. Cool. Or, I like the Exorcist missile launcher. D6 plus 2 shots at heavy indirect fire, 10 to D6. And if people fail saves, toss a Miracle Dice at them. Here you go.
6 damage.
There you go. 6 damage. Don't worry about it. I think this is good. I think the Exorcist missile launcher is probably the better one, but if we see elves too often, no, we don't. But in general, I really like the Exorcist having indirect baked in. That means multiple of them can fire indirect, and it's not 2 CP each time you do it. I think this is a great upgrade. It also shores up the leadership problem. Exorcist, hoping it doesn't get significantly more expensive than it is now, but it is much improved.
Yep,
I'm happy
T10.
to see it. T10, 3-up save, 11 wounds, still has a 6 pinball. It's just generically useful. And no, I do not expect them to FAQ the Flamers on Penitents. I think that's very intended. But before we get on to the glorious Cassandra, let's talk about the super chat we just got from Matto. Matto, thank you so much for your support. You're a hero. You're a champion. And, actually, we had 2 super chats. I'm so sorry. But let's go with Matto, since I'm already reading him. Looking forward to Sisters and a 10th in general. Is a Calidus as a toolkit, Vectin redeploy, or Draxus for the 18-inch no shoot, worth a look for Sisters? It is jumping ahead a little bit, but Matto, you have nothing to apologize for. Yes, both of these are worth looking at. I think both of them are very good. I think that Draxus is not as valuable in Sisters as she is in other armies, because you won't have any other characters there. And getting a battle line unit not shot is nice, but I don't think it's mandatory. Mm-hmm. I really, really like a Calidus in every Imperium army. An Assassin's usually in the 100-point range, and at least traditionally has been 90 to 100 for the past couple years. We'll see if that's how much they end up. We'll talk a lot about the Calidus in our Agents video coming up later today. But in general, the Calidus is very good, and I like her rules a lot.
Great rules.
And I have one already, and I'm probably going to repaint it, honestly, because I think I painted it 7 years ago, and I think I can just do better now. But I think she's going to see the table more than she has in the past 7 years. I've never actually used her. She's got 3 colors in a dream. Maybe I've used her once, but I think she's going to see a lot more use in 10th edition. So, Matto, thank you so much for the super chat and the support. Knobs Burgers, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Loving the reviews, guys. Can't wait to join you for Orcs tomorrow. Knobs Burgers, we don't know when the Orc review is coming, but GW has been posting daily indexes, and boy, we're running out of days and indexes. So whenever we get that Orcs review, we are very excited to talk about it. Hopefully that's tomorrow. A true WA, and we'll be posting Here We Go all over the place. I'm sure that Jack will pop in for that Orcs review. He seems to be fond of his Green Boys.
He definitely
So
is.
thank you so much for the support, Knobs Burgers. It means everything for us.
Thank you.
For those of you watching, if you want to support us a little bit, maybe hit the like button. Maybe subscribe to the channel. We've got a lot more coming up. You could even check out our content in the War Room with our wonderful, awesome community. If you want to get a free trial, do it right now. Click the link in the description below, thewarroom.vhx.tv. Mm-hmm. Ready for the Castigator?
Let's talk about Cassandra the Castigator.
Yes! She's back. She's better.
She's T10.
The only reason that she's not the most improved unit in the book is because she was already perfect. But she's great. T10, 3-up save, 11 wounds, OC 3, whatever, 6 bend, cool. She's a tank. Here's the rule. Each time she makes an attack with its Castigator autocannon against an infantry, reroll the hit. Each time you make an attack against a vehicle or monster with a Castigator battle cannon, reroll the hit. After you have shot, pick a unit hit by your top turret, take a battle shock test. So reroll hits against infantry, reroll hits against vehicles, depending on if you took the anti-infantry or the anti-vehicle, cause a battle shock check when you're dead. Let's cover what these things are, because I think they're great. I really like the Castigator autocannon. The battle cannon, blast, ignore cover. Ignore cover really sweetens this deal for me.
Pretty important.
D3 plus 3 at 10, 1, 3. That's kind of nice, 40-inch range. The autocannon, twin-linked, rapid fire 4 attacks, ballistic skill 3, 9, 1, 3. Doesn't ignore cover, but if you're shooting an infantry unit and you're within 24 inches, it's 8 attacks, reroll the hit, reroll the wound, 9, 1, 3. That is pretty good infantry killing.
Yeah.
If you're shooting a tank, ignoring cover, rerolling the hit, pretty good on the Castigator battle cannon. I am happy with both of those profiles for the first time in my life.
It's a nice long-range profile.
Yeah, good 40-inch range. Also comes with 3 heavy bolters. Could buy a hunter killer, could buy a storm bolter. That's just generically useful.
The rerolls help because you're going to be spending miracle dice on your other units.
Exactly. I don't want to use miracle dice on everything. I want some things that I can just crank. Exorcist I can crank because if I roll badly on them, it's fine. I'm not going to die back because I'm an indirect piece behind a wall. Castigator, if I roll badly, I'm just going to re-roll it and see what happens. Overall, Castigator and Exorcist both have me very excited. I think Sisters can actually do like a mech list with a bunch of MSU, and I think that's pretty good. And then when people get close, you start shooting 6s at them because they're ready to step out. Silliest thing. All right, that's the Castigator. We now have the Rhino. This one has firing deck too. None of the Chaos ones do except the Death Guard one. I don't know why. This is the same Rhino data sheet we have seen in every other video. It has a 6 at Benvol. Cool. It's a Rhino. That's great. Nothing wrong with it, but it's a Rhino. Now, the Immolator comes with, sadly, a twin-linked, not 2, twin-linked Immolation Flamers. Actually, no, that's not twin-linked. But either a twin heavy bolter or a twin Malta. Those do the things you'd expect. Immolation Flamers are Ignore Cover Torrent, 611, 18-inch 2d6. I actually like the Flamer a lot.
It's a solid flame
It's
profile.
a solid
Great
Flamer.
Overwatch.
Great Overwatch, and that is what I like. In your shooting phase, after this model is shot, select an enemy unit hit by 1 or more of those attacks. Now that could be with the Heavy Bolter, or the Hunter Killer Missile, or the Immolation Flamers. Maybe don't buy the Hunter Killer, but it comes with the Heavy Bolter and the Flamers. So you're going to take those at least. And anyone that got out of the transport can reroll the wound roll.
Ooh, it has that roll.
Yeah, I really like
Get your...
that the transport can combat squad people. Because what I want to do is take 10 Battle Sisters and say, I've got a Melta, a Combi Melta, a Multi-Melta, a Bolt Gun, and a Simulacrum. And these 5 girls, they're in the Immolator. And then these 5 girls, they're going to go run behind a wall. And the unit behind the wall is going to sit there and get me a Miracle Ice every command phase. And this, at some point, the Immolator is going to jump forward. We're going to get all the girls out. I'm going to shoot something, hit it with a heavy bolter, put a flamer into an infantry squad. I'm going to reroll wounds against it. And I'm going to put 4 Melta shots into that thing. Hopefully a couple of them hit. Maybe I'll help them along with some Miracle Ice, and then I'll just reroll wounds, and I'll try to kill something.
See, this is what helps underutilized units, is giving them a unique role where they do something for the army.
Yep, that combat squad and some reroll the wounds. These are 2 things that I otherwise do not have. Again, we've seen it with Sisters. I think they really want Sisters to be an MSU army. But they gave all of our units 10 strong instead of 5, and all of our rules want us to be MSU. So, I will take an Immolator. They got me. Look, I've got 4 of them.
At least you have that option.
I've got
I would
4.
take that option.
Oh, absolutely. I've got 4 Immolators. I am totally fine if I get to use one. T10, kind of nice on a transport. 3 up, 11 wounds, 6 of Pinvol. It's a little bit beefier than a normal transport. It gets Miracle Ice. What's not to love? That's the Immolator. Arco-flagellants. These derpy, wacky, wavy, inflatable tube men are awesome. These things are actually kind of good. Sustained hits 1, 4 attacks, twin-linked 501. They are 2 wounds, no invul, 4 feel no pain, but still have Acts of Faith. But they have the extremis trigger word. Each time you're selected to fight, you can choose to invoke the trigger word. If you do, attacks characteristic of 6 instead of 4, and hazardous. So if you do that, it's a unit of 3 to 10. I don't know why it's 3, but... Oh, no, because there's an old starter box. All right, 3 to 10. If you do the big one, it is 60 attacks, hitting on 4s, sustained hits 1, rerolling wounds. And yeah, hazardous will probably kill 1 or 2 of them afterwards. But that is funny.
Yeah.
That is just funny.
It's a lot of attacks. And 4 of Feel No Pain can be a bear to deal with.
Yeah, this is very weird to deal with. They don't have a save. They have a 7-up, cover gives them a 6-up. Cool. They don't have an invuln. It's fine. But they are awkwardly hard to deal with, because if you're just shooting like bolt guns at them, T3, 2 wounds, 4 up, feel no pain, it'll actually take a little bit. And then, like, no one wants to shoot an anti-tank weapon at a naked dude with cyber dreadlocks and whips. Like, what are we doing here? Wacky, wavy, inflatable arm tube men. They're great. I honestly really like this. Good skirmish unit, just a bucket of volume. I don't mind taking like a small unit and just hitting people with it. I like 3 of these, jumps out, 18 attacks, kill your cultist, move on.
It's just more stuff to die for Miracle Dice.
It's also that. But like, again, 3 of these, 18 attacks, hitting on 4s. Okay, it's fine. You get 9 hits. Well, your sustained hits, so you get 12 hits. Wounding on 3s, rerolling wounds. You put like 10 saves on a cultist unit with 3 of these idiots. You kill almost all of them. Now you outnumber them on the objective. They're battle shocked. 1 or 2 cultists hit you back. You have a 4 on the pain, feel the pain. You don't actually lose anything. Now they have to point a resource at this 3-man. They kill you. You've contested their objective for a turn. You get a Miracle Ice. Someone goes and kills the last 2 cultists. Life is good.
Yeah.
3 guys? That's good.
Quite solid.
Yeah. 100% good with that. Okay. And that is every unit in the Adeptus Sororitas. There's a little
Where's
top
the
picture for you.
fortification? The Sanctum, right? Battle Sanctum?
Really? You're really going to come at me with that?
Where is it?
It's not there. You're going to steal my thunder like that? I was about to say it. Yep, Battle Sanctum's gone. It was too broken. It was just too good.
Just make it a unit that can be interactive.
Hey, I won every tournament I took a Battle Sanctum to. Just saying. And that is apparently never changing because she's gone. Sisters are really interesting. They're very different from before. They still have the same identity, but they just do it in such different ways. Points are going to matter. We know it. Blah, 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 blah. They still punch pretty respectably if you get close to them. Mm-hmm. They are still not durable, but then sometimes they are weirdly a little more durable than you'd think. Yeah. And that's kind of fun.
Miracle Dice, it can get crazy.
Miracle Dice can get crazy. Yeah, rest in peace, Celestians, the basic Celestians, and the Battle Sanctum. That is unfortunate. But, which is really weird because they made a kit for them. And now they're just Battle Sisters. But overall, I think I like Sisters. I think I really need to see points and just see how they're going to actually play on the battlefield. I think this army wants to be an indirect backfield. And a lot of melee units that don't hit hard, but hit hard enough. Mm-hmm. And have enough tricks where it's like, oh, you send something in. Okay, I go slam you with a melee unit. It doesn't hit as quite as hard as before. You don't really get to hit me back because you have to hit that Crusader. Now it's your turn. Are you going to fall back? All right, you go stand in front of me. We're good. Yeah, no problem. Are you going to stay there? I'm going to fight first again. You don't really want 2 rounds of Sisters melee.
No, you don't.
You don't want a Melt-A-Gun to step out and shoot 6s at you. Because boy is the Dialogus combined with the Triumph really good.
So it seems like they got that 12-inch to 18-inch area just locked down.
Yeah, you don't want to get within 18 inches of a Sisters army. That is going to be agonizingly painful.
And they're just going to chip you until you do with the Exorcist.
Yep, and then some long-range shooting off of like Castigators, a little bit of indirect. I think Sisters are going to have a lot of play. There's enough stuff in here that looks like it should be cheap that I think they'll be able to play the mission. Some flying units, some infantry. I think Sisters are going to try to be a, here is my zone. I'm going to be scoring a lot of mission points. When are you going to cross the line? And the whole time, if you wait, if you try to be cagey and power up, they're like, no problem. I'm winding up the Miracle Ice Arm. I'm getting more. This is just going to hurt more and more when you actually step up. And then they do, and you're like, well, I've got 13 Miracle Ice. All right, Retributors. Bang. 24 damage. I didn't roll a dice. I don't know, man. We'll see what points are like, but I actually think Sisters, a little bit different, still kept their identity, still interesting. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot that it has to be seen, but there's still a little bit to work with. I am a little concerned, I'll be honest, about the melee reduction, because it did feel like the book was relying on Bloody Rose, and that's a true thing. I feel a little bit concerned about some of the defensive reduction. All of that is kind of like, if it's priced the same as before and just worse, it'll feel a little bit bad, but then the rest of the game's worse. If it's a little bit cheaper, which, fingers crossed, I just want it like 10% cheaper across the board in the old codex because everything got a little more MSU themed, I think. At that point, I think I'm okay with it. So we'll see what's coming. But overall, I think Sisters definitely have good rules, and they're going to have some play.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We got one more super chat over here.
Brockman11, thank you so much for, I believe, a Danish krone? I'm not quite sure. Thank you for your super chat. Will the Hospitaller be able to heal the Triumph? Yes. Can heal her 3 wounds.
Just an infantry character.
Yep. So hopefully the Triumph isn't getting hit, but if she does, you can heal her, which is quite useful. Yeah, and again, thank you so much for your support. All right, that wraps us up. If you like the video, please like the video. Man, been talking for so long.
Yeah.
But we're going to be going live later today with even more beautiful 40k content. I think we still have Agents of the Imperium and Grey Knights to go.
Next video is going to be Grey Knights. So we're going to take a little short break and then come back with Grey Knights. And then to round it out, Agents of the Imperium. And there's some really good data sheets in there, so stay tuned for that. I think armies like Sisters, like AdMech, are going to grab some of those agents and use them to good effect.
Yes, so very excited for that. And overall, let's see how it goes.
Yeah,
thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking, sharing, putting a comment in. Let us know what you think about Sisters.
Yeah,
Let us know what you think about all the Imperium indexes. What kind of combos you want to try in your Sisters list. And then subscribe to the channel to get notified the next time we go live. Thank you so much for watching, everyone.
Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Bye.